Hi, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. Hope you're having a great week. So, a lot of people are talking about, LeBron James going from, the Los Angeles Lakers over to the Philadelphia 76ers. And so I've seen a lot of chatter online about this. And hey, that's a big thing, LeBron James is a big name player, has 4 NBA championships under his belt. And I guess the thing that I've noticed about this issue is just how toxic the world of sports cards can be. For instance, I always like to bring this up, because I wore a mask, during the COVID pandemic, but um, at the end of 2022, I was diagnosed with a staph infection. Um, And so I had to keep wearing a mask. And so I went to a card show in 2023, that January. And the whole COVID pandemic, nobody ever said anything to me about wearing a mask. Okay. So the doctors tell me to wear a mask because I have a staph infection. All right. And so I go to this card show. I'm just at this table. And this guy gets in my face about wearing a mask. But my point being is, you know, I roamed around my whole community wearing a mask. I mean, I went everywhere. And the only point in time where someone got in my face about wearing a mask was at a card show. So, what does that say about vendors and people at card shows, huh? Think about it. Um, I think it's a bad look overall, for what the world of sports cards are. So I ran to this post, and to me, this post just goes along with collecting sports cards and the type of people you're going to run into, okay? So this comes from Nobody's Listening Anyway, Harry Doyle, okay? It says, collecting Nolan Ryan cards, the same industry with people who collect LeBron, okay? Is like collecting precious flowers near a sewer. Not a fan of pedos in the sports card timeline. You do you. Okay, so what did this individual say? Well, for one, if you collect LeBron James, you're a sewer. You're like, I guess, raw sewage for the most part. And then I guess the way that I read this is if you collect LeBron James cards, you're also a pedophile. Okay. How does that make you feel? And you just collect LeBron James cards. I'm always kind of seeing this in the world of sports cards. This just in your face hatred. You're garbage if you collect this, Here, this person's basically saying you're raw sewage if you're a fan of LeBron James, which I disagree. And then at the end, he says, you do you. What is that? So, anyway, this post came out just yesterday, July 24th, 2026. But before I go too deep, so he's saying that basically Nolan Ryan collectors are like the best thing in the world, correct? If you collect Nolan Ryan, I guess you're like a living god, all right? But the issue I've always had with Nolan Ryan is I know he's really popular, but, I'm always kind of digging in a little bit deeper. And I know this is a popularity game, and Nolan Ryan's one of those big popular kids in school, okay? Nolan Ryan won one World Series championship in his 27-year career. He earned the single title with the 1969 Miracle Mets, okay? So, 27-year career, only one World Series championship, okay? With the New York Mets of all teams, which, I mean, I don't know how he did it. The New York Mets are just walking stink bombs. But anyway, um, I may as well pull up LeBron James. Why not? Yeah, 4 NBA championships. Miami Heat 2012, 2013, Cleveland Cavs 2016, and LA Lakers in 2020. I mean, I'm not sure why someone who collects Nolan Ryan would go ahead and basically call people out who collect LeBron James cards as raw sewage or pedophiles. To me, that just goes along with what the sports card hobby kind of is, a very toxic place. Very, very toxic place. In fact, I've had other social media channels, I've argued this, argued that, but, for one reason, when you get into sports cards, I've had some of the most toxic, hateful, beastful trolls come on and leave their comments, on my episodes. And I don't put up with it, it's just, you're out of here, I used to be a bouncer. Just like any place, at any bar, you get your rowdies. But I guess my point is why does this hobby have to be so hateful and toxic towards each other, towards fellow collectors even, Here, this guy's a Nolan Ryan collector. Hey, I like collectors, but then he has to sit there and, really just go out and attempt to destroy anyone who wants to collect LeBron James. It doesn't make sense. And it just comes across as real petty. It's not just here. I mean, I've run across this at card shows, card shops, and to me, like I said, I mean, it's ugly. And I don't understand why we have to go down this road. So let's see what some people are replying. I mean, 61 likes. Think about that for this. Okay. I think he keeps playing so he doesn't have to give up his firstborn son as trans. See Magic Johnson. Okay. Yeah. Is that why they're attacking LeBron James? Is because of Magic Johnson has a trans son? Okay. All right. I must be. Like he says, you hit it on the head. All right, so attack LeBron James for Magic Johnson, and I don't know. Whatever. Living in Philly, all I'm going to hear about this guy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's time to get angry because he's going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know. I don't follow LeBron or news much, really. Who's the pedo, LeBron? Well, you have to read it closely. I mean, I read it, and do you think he's calling out LeBron as a pedo? No, I thought he was calling out collectors of LeBron James cards pedos. Even comparing the two makes my stomach turn. Well, that one World Series, for Nolan Ryan, I guess just eclipses everything that LeBron James has done in the world of sports cards. And that's just it. People pick their teams in sports cards and they stay with them. It doesn't really matter. Facts, no facts. And to me, that's why this post doesn't make a lot of sense. Ain't no party like a Diddy party, I agree. Or a Michael Rubin white party. Gotta get that out there. I won't even say that. The B word sucks. Long live the Ryan Express. Okay. It almost feels like Nolan Ryan collectors are going to duke it out with LeBron James collectors. You know what I mean? Time to scrap it out, guys. Why? It's all about whose card is the best. And it's just this just doesn't really make any sense to me. Other than the fact that there's just a lot of hateful people out in this world who collect cards. Am I wrong? Wow, tell you're an angry old white guy without telling you're an angry old white guy. You just keep pounding on the floor. Nolan Ryan's the best player in history for everything, every league. Da da da. It's all Nolan Ryan, Nolan Ryan, Nolan Ryan. Oh my God. I just want to put out there, I like Nolan Ryan. I always have, but I'm not going to sit there and put him on a pedestal as like the best athlete to ever hit the market. I mean, we went over his World Series win with the Mets. I mean, that's it, guys. It's just like, come on. I don't know, but that's sports cards for you. Like I said, I don't know what it is about sports cards, but some of the most toxic, hateful, I'll even put evil people I've ever met are into sports cards. I don't get it. It's a fairly simple hobby, but I can kind of see where it's going now. You get people like, Michael Rubin involved in this big monopoly, I think sports cards look kind of ugly at this point in time due to the fact that it really is kind of a toxic hobby. So anyway, I'd like to thank my subscribers. You're the only reason I do these shows. And if you're a viewer, if you haven't subscribed, if you could just hit that subscription button, it would really help me out. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.